Today, we are going to see how Pastorelli produces 20 millimetri, the 2 cm thick porcelain paver for outdoor flooring applications. Pastorelli is market leader and was among the very first to manufacture 2 cm thick porcelain pavers, a material so resistant that it can be installed outdoors without having to glue it on a concrete slab. 20 millimetri by Pastorelli is a great alternative to natural stone that is becoming increasingly scarce, and it is by nature subject to variations in quality. Another possibility are concrete pavers that anyway offer limited aesthetic options. Pastorelli's porcelain pavers offer several advantages when compared to the traditional materials. Countless aesthetic options, resistance to freeze-thaw, to scratch, and great durability. Vinti millimetri 2 cm thick porcelain pavers are produced with natural, inert raw materials. Clay, feldspar, a mineral containing quartz, and sand. The various components are automatically mixed in the right proportions, like the ingredients to prepare a cake. A conveyor belt carries the raw materials to the mill. Water is added, and the raw materials are ground into tiny particles using heavy spheres made of alumina, a hard ceramic product. The result is a milky liquid called barbotina. Barbotina is stored into underground tanks and has to be constantly stirred to avoid sedimentation of the solids. With the optional addition of mineral pigments, barbotina is pumped to the atomizer, where it is sprayed into small droplets that are quickly dried by a large flow of hot air. Water evaporates and the solids fall down as powder. Pastorelli uses the cogeneration to minimize the environmental impact. A gas turbine similar to a plain jet engine produces electricity and hot air that is used in the atomizer. The spray-dried powder is then stored into silos. With over 60 silos, Pastorelli is able to mix different colored powders to always provide porcelain pavers with a body of the desired color. The powder is brought to the presses. The mold is filled with spray-dried powder. Then the hydraulic piston applies a pressure of almost 500 kilograms per square centimeter, forming the body of 20 millimetri and also embossing the required texture on its surface. A bit like when making a snowball, the right humidity is needed to aggregate the particles with pressure. Too dry or too wet do not provide the desired result. If the pressed body was fired immediately, the humidity it contains would evaporate too quickly, and the paver would explode. Therefore, it's necessary to dry it slowly using hot air. Also in this instance, Pastorelli cares about the environment and recycles the hot air from the kiln to dry the pressed product. On the glazing line, the surface is decorated, giving the desired aesthetic aspect to the paver. Thanks to the digital printing technology, the visual opportunities are endless, and it's almost impossible to find two pieces of 20 millimetri that look alike. The laboratory is always looking for new ideas, often taking inspiration from natural materials like stone, wood, metals, stucco, and then reinterpreting their looks. The graphic files are edited, and several tests are made before starting the industrial production. The glazes applied to the surface are glass particles covered with mineral pigments. Along the firing process, they melt and bond together with the body of the porcelain paver. At every product change, the glazing line must be thoroughly washed to avoid undesired colors. Pastorelli recycles entirely this water into the mills. Laser-guided vehicles transport the pavers to the kiln. The Vinti Millimetri slabs proceed slowly on the rollers. Natural gas burners heat them gradually to a temperature of 1200 degrees Celsius. The elements are bound and combined, and the product shrinks approximately 7% in size. The resulting material is compact and resistant. It is porcelain stoneware. It absorbs almost no water, less than 0.5%. It is therefore exempt from the problems with freeze-thaw that are typical of more porous materials, and can be used outdoors, also in mountainous or cold areas. In selection, the Vinti Millimetri pavers are inspected by a computerized vision system and by an operator to eliminate the pieces that are not compliant with Pastorelli's high-quality standards. They are sorted by shade and caliber, in other words, in groups homogeneous in color and size. Finally, the product is accurately packaged, and the carton bears all the information to trace the production batch. The pallet is protected with a waterproof shrink wrap, and it's ready to be shipped.